It's that easy, folks. Hey, I'm back. With a little practice, of course. I'm back. I'm talking 7 weights today. I got the new R8s, of course, as you already know. And we're going to talk about all 3 7s in the lineup. They're all similar but different lengths. We've got 12.6, 13-footer, and the 13.6 right here, which I've been out enjoying. And this 13.6 we'll start with because I have it in my hands. You know, these 7s all fall within that what George Cook calls the Northwest Soulful Smooth, and I think the designers at Sage designed them that way. Easy casting, all water rods. The 12.5-foot 7, which we'll talk about a little more later when I get to it, it's a little quicker, and that might just be because of its length. And I'm not going to get, with these rod reviews, I don't get deep into actions and what I feel here and there and what I think I'm guessing how the taper of the rod and blah blah blah, and because that's such an individual thing. What you're going to do with it, what lines you put on it, what your objective is, but they're easy to cast and they're powerful, and you'll have to see for yourself, but this R8 series is incredible. And the 7s, of course, are going to get a lot of play because, hey, what's everyone's first Spey rod? It's a 7-weight in most cases. 7-weight kind of does it all for steelhead, and they'll be fished across a lot of steelhead arenas all over the West and world, and Atlantic salmon to some point, and so on and so forth. But so let's talk about the 13.5-foot 7-weight, which is right here. Today I have on it a Rio Scandi launch, which is the newish Scandi from Rio, which is fabulous, with either a monoliter or a versaleater. Fantastic line, and I'm fishing it today in a 470. A 470. And it comes in right at 35 feet. And today I just have a long monoliter on it, but these Scandi launches are fantastic with versaleaters as well. So as you could see from a couple casts, it goes out beautifully. And but what I got to say about this rod in particular is, hey, does everyone need a 13.6.7? Nope. There might be a different length that suits your needs depending on the watershed you fish, but and I know I have the luxury, I have them all, and that is a luxury. But when we're talking bigger water, Scandis, and game changers, I had a 550 game changer on this thing earlier, which was just beautiful. I definitely loaded it up, but I will fish, as I get into those colder months, I will put a game changer on this 13.6 7-weight, the 7136. But from now until, October, this Scandi is going to live on here. Again, it's a 470 Rio Scandi launch. Absolutely fantastic. And I got to say, I started with this line, and then I went to the 500, and I kind of stayed there for a while. And I came out here, and I cast the 500, and I'm just thinking, this is just, in a 500 is fine on this rod. It definitely loads it up. Let me try that 470 again, and I got to tell you, I'm not going back. 470 is staying on this rod. It's going to live on this rod. Tight loops. And at 470, this rod still bends. I can feel it bend down here when I'm casting a 470 Scandi on this thing. So that's where I'm at. I have cast a regular Skagit launch on it, and it's a 525 rod for a regular Skagit. You could go up to 550. It's going to load it up. That 550 game changer definitely loaded it up, but it wasn't too much. It's still unloaded and flew out there. So that's where I'm at with this rod. And I can't wait. It's that time of year that the little flies come out and we start getting after these early summer steelhead. Of course, I'm on my home waters of the Rogue right now. So 7136 for the right water type, watershed, whatever your home waters are. Maybe you already have 12 and a half, 13 foot rods. You need a little longer rod. That's what you're missing. Well, don't be afraid to get this one. I think you'll be super, super stoked. Well, let's go down to the 7130. I'm going to grab that here while I reel up. Now this 7130 is just by default, because it's a 13-foot rod, will probably be the most versatile, will definitely be the most versatile, and probably the best-selling rod because it's right in the middle, and it's going to work great on smaller rivers, bigger rivers, kind of do everything. Scandi, Skagit. It's going to be kind of good at everything. And when they put this 7130 together, they did an amazing job. This is a rod that bends. It's groovy. All the 13-foot rods are just groovy. Does it bend more than the 13.6 rod? I don't know, but you'll have to cast one. Outstanding rod. Well, let's go out and cast it. So I have a 525 Rio Skagit Max launch, which is the full length Skagit. And I put 10 feet of T11 on here. That's what's on here now. 10 feet of T11. So we'll come out here and we'll just do a short double spay. Whoop, hung up. We'll do a little double spay here just to see what this thing does. That's pretty easy, folks. Super duper easy. Well, let's lengthen it out a little bit. We'll roll and do a C-spay. See what that does. I mean, that is so easy. Easy. I'm already out there past 60 feet where we catch a lot of fish. I mean, it doesn't get any easier than that. So I got like I said, I have a 525, 10 feet of T11, which is a tip I'm gonna fish a lot. Little double spay, boom. Easy, folks. 7130. I gotta make a few more. This is so fun. The level of stoke on these rods is high, I'm telling you. I've had these rods well over a year. Had a chance to fish them in Argentina, on our coastal rivers for winter steelhead, and of course on my home water, the Rogue. Absolutely incredible. You might want to get one of these. 7130, folks. That's a no-brainer. And for a Scandi, 470. 470. 500 might feel like a little much, but I would put a 470 Rio Scandi launch. And of course, you can put a game changer on this thing at 13 feet. You can also get away with putting a pickpocket, which is a new sinking Skagit from Rio. And they're shorter, they're 20 feet. But at 13 feet, have at least a 10-foot tip, obviously. But 12 plus is going to give you better anchor grip. If you have I fished the 8130 a lot this last winter with a pickpocket just to play with the lines, and 10-foot tips kind of a recipe for a blown anchor. So I'd go at least 12 and a half feet. You put a pickpocket on a 13-foot rod. So again, that would come in at a 525. Let's move on. All right. I love short rods. Absolutely love short rods. going back to the Death Star, which, you know, a lot of 12.5-foot 7 weights have been measured by that rod. That's probably the most famous Spey rod of all time. That was a Sage TCX 12.5-foot 7 weight. Just a beast. And then we had the Method. And then we had the Igniter 7. Those were your high line speed, high performance rods. So when I grabbed this rod, when I got this rod, the bar was high, really high. I want it to do what those rods did for me, because if I had to choose one rod, one 7 weight to fish, summer and winter, the Igniter, Method, TCX, which is the Death Star, go to. Back me into a corner. I want a 12.5-foot 7 weight with a Skagit line, and I can do anything with it. I can do it on small water. I can do it on big water. You name the sink tip, the fly, that's what I want. So when I picked this rod up, expectations were high, very high. And I first fished it on the Chetco. We were doing a photo shoot a couple years ago, and the first run of the day, I grabbed this rod, put a Skagit line on it, and I was trying to hit this seam, and photographer's right there, and I had to go longer and longer and longer, and I thought, I know the Igniter could get me there. I know the Death Star could get me there. Is this going to get me there? Because it was an aggressive weight. It was a long cast, big fly. Guess what? I got it there. Unfortunately, when the fish bit, I might have pulled the trigger a little soon, but it got me there. So this rod is not just, this rod's incredible. So today I have the Power, the Rio Skagit Max Power, which is the short one, the 20-footer in a 525, which is just fantastic on this rod. Now, it's not typically my instinct to put a short Skagit on a 12.5-foot rod based on my stroke length and preferences, but this combo is incredible, incredible. I fished it all winter, a little bit last fall. It flies off there. I've cast it with lots of shops and other people around the West. Incredible setup. Full Skagit was, which is what I tried first on this rod. I first tried a 525, felt too light, but that was a good sign to me because I fished a 550 on the Igniter, a 550 on the Death Star. I want a 7+ personally out of a 7. So 525 felt light on here to me. I put a 550 on it and a full Skagit, 23 feet, the Skagit Max launch, and that was awesome. It was amazing. It sent it. It wanted it. It loved it. So that's, again, what got me so stoked about this 12.5-foot 7. Had a lot to live up to based on its predecessors. So enough of me talking. I'm gonna do a little casting. So this, like I said, this is the Max Power, which is the short Skagit, and I've just got 10 feet of T11 on here once again. So let's see how this behaves. We'll just do a little double Spey here. Boom, boom. Comes right off there, real nice, okay? Real nice. Now why lighter 525 versus 550? Okay, why lighter in the shorter Skagit, the Power, versus heavier in the longer one? Well, when we take all that grain weight and we condense it down to a shorter, it just has more mass per foot. 550 and a Power on here would feel probably fine, but a little heavy to me. You might like it. So when I'm fishing a smaller river, or I want to put a heavier sink tip on, this little power, the short little power, is going to be my go-to. But as I want to fish bigger water, with slightly less sink tip, slightly less fly, I'm going to put the 550 max launch on it. Okay? 550 launch. Well, you don't want to watch me cast all day. I think you should go cast one of these yourself. Thanks for tuning in, folks. This is super fun. I'm going to do more of these. So stay tuned. I appreciate you watching. Please like and subscribe. That just keeps the train rolling down the tracks for me. And I hope you enjoyed this. Hey, we'll see you again soon. Cheers.